Hi, I'm Cassie Burton, host of the Curiosity Junkie podcast. Today, you're listening to The Journey Inward, a mini series of talks focused on reconnecting with our true inner self. If you'd like more information on the journey inward, please visit cassieburton.com. While you're there, be sure to check out the resources tab where you'll find helpful tools, worksheets, practices, and exercises to help you on your journey inward. I recently launched a 21-day mindfulness challenge on Instagram stories. You can find that at Curiosity Junkie Cass. I hope you'll take a moment to pop over to Instagram, follow me, and check out the daily challenges that are posted in the stories. Don't worry about missing the first few days, as all 21 days of the challenge will be housed in the purple story highlight labeled Journey Inward. Today, I want to start by sharing my story with you, along with why I started a daily mindfulness practice and what that entails. I'm just going to start with my story. It really is a story of living with anxiety my whole life, and not the debilitating kind of anxiety, more that constant, slow burn anxiety that you wake up with in the morning and you go to sleep with at night. But that's really difficult because you're filled with anxiety. I was always on high alert, running on high energy, moving 100 miles an hour, trying to stay in front of whatever my mind thought was chasing me. Turns out nothing was chasing me. My anxiety stems from childhood trauma and a childhood filled with uncertainty. And no, this isn't about blaming my parents. I truly believe they were doing the best they could at the time. What it is about is taking responsibility for parenting and caring for myself and making my needs a priority. It's about showing up for me when I need me most. It's about showing myself the same compassion and kindness that I would to a loved one. I mean, think about this. How often do you find yourself saying negative things to yourself? I'm guessing every day. Most of us do. Our minds are working to protect us 24/7. And so they are constantly thinking and creating thoughts, pulling memories to relate to current events. And most of the time, we get caught up in this thinking pattern, and that is how anxiety and depression are created. I spent quite a few years reading books on spiritual teachings, how to forgive, how to be happy, how to love languages, attachment styles, emotional blockage freedom, many, many books. And here's what I found. Almost all of those books refer to being in the present moment or being mindful of your emotions, thoughts, and feelings. So I gave it a whirl because why not? I've tried everything else, including therapy. For me, a morning practice works best because it really does help me start my day in a grounded and centered mindset. For you, it might be evening. You'll have to kind of play with that. My day starts with a morning coffee ritual, which I assume everyone has. I do have to have my at least one cup of coffee to start my day. I grab my journal and I get my space set up. Sometimes it's outside, sometimes it's inside, just depends on the weather. I really do try not to look at any social media for at least 30 minutes in the morning. The reason being, it activates the anxiety in most of us. So take that first 30 minutes to really wake up slowly and get in touch with yourself. I do use my phone and the Insight Timer app for meditation music. And yes, I have my favorite go to. It's called Morning Rain by Riley Lee. It's give or take 21 minutes long, which is perfect for me. As it begins, I sip my coffee and I really just let my mind and body wake up slowly. When my mind begins to kind of activate and the thoughts start to happen, I do go ahead and get my journal out and I write 2 words that describe how I'm feeling in that moment. And then I write about what I am most grateful for that day. I will say, starting your day in gratitude can literally change your thinking and change your life. I highly recommend taking the time to at least start there. One thing you're most grateful for, three, five, whatever works for you, but start a gratitude practice. From there, I write about whatever is on my mind, and that can be anything from a grand idea rolling around in my brain, my emotional state. It could be what I need that I'm not voicing, or sitting with feelings of frustration, trying to understand what is being triggered within me and why. It is me being 100% present for me and my needs, my wants, my wishes, my dreams, all of it. I tend to wrap up my morning practice with affirmations and I recite them 3 to 5, sometimes 10 or more. I do it until I feel them in my body. And what that means for me is I say them until I feel the smile come up on my face, or I feel a swelling in my heart. You will know it when you are connected with the vibration from those words. These are my go to affirmations. I am abundance. I am love. I am strong. I am safe. I am healthy. And I am one with the divine universe. I use universe. You can use God, Buddha, whatever word you relate to. If I'm working on inner child healing, I will add something like, I am listening, or I love you. And when I do this kind of work, I'll place one hand on my heart and one hand on my lower abdomen. Then I recite, I am listening, I am listening, or I love you, I love you. And I will say that until I feel it's time to stop. There's no time limit on that, there's no number. You'll just know when, again, you feel connected with those words. Sometimes this will bring up tears, and that's okay. Let them flow as you reassure yourself that you are there for yourself. Now, this whole process for me takes about 30 minutes, sometimes more if I really need to get in touch with something in me that's going on and move it to a place of healing. What I can tell you is that, starting this morning practice literally changed my life. It helped me to really ground and center myself, which brought me much needed inner peace. I've not only found peace, but I really connected with myself. I found self acceptance and I found what I call true love. It was a love for me. My life slowed down, my anxiety lessened, and I found myself saying, everything's going to be all right when I would start to feel anxious. Let me also tell you that I did cut out and basically eliminated my TV intake, time around negative people. I made more time for myself and the things I enjoyed doing. And I started saying no more often to people and things I didn't want to do, and yes to things that excited me, maybe even scared me a little bit. Today, I still have this practice. And yes, there are days I hit the ground running and don't get that time with myself. And that's okay. When that happens, the day I know is going to be a little less mine and a little more everyone else's. But that's a great reminder for me to slow down, get back to my daily practice of time spent with myself. One thing I know a lot of us tend to do is say, I don't have that time. I don't have 20 minutes. I don't have 15 minutes. I think what it comes down to is making yourself a priority in your life. You have to commit to putting you first. That's one of the reasons I think I like a morning practice is that nothing can get in the way. I do it as soon as I get up and I love doing it. So if you're struggling with finding the time or you're telling yourself you don't have that time, you're not convinced that you have 20 to 30 minutes to spend with yourself, ask yourself these questions. How much time do I spend making sure others like me or approve of what I'm doing? How much time do I spend doing things I don't really want to do with people I don't really want to be with? Where or when can I say no more often to others and yes more often to myself? Think of it this way. If you never really spend quality time with yourself, how will you ever really get to know yourself? How will you get to know your needs, your wants, your true desires, your dreams? Why not stop running, stop being busy, stop pushing yourself forward, and start sitting with yourself, listening to yourself, and most importantly, start loving yourself more. That's it for me today on the journey inward.